hatsauce.com.
Sympathy. It's a Greek word, Sparta! And it means to suffer. So to sympathize with someone means to suffer along with them. You understand what they're going through. You may not be suffering 100% along with them. Hopefully you get a grasp on the mental and emotional level of why one is suffering. In case of the new baseball biopic movie called 42 on Jackie Robinson, I was a sure guarantee that if you go and watch the movie 42, you'll walk away feeling just a little bit inspired. Now, I'm sorry if I offend a few people with this opinion of mine. I don't like baseball. Nor do I like soccer. Any Simpsons fans here? And I mean like the 90s Simpsons. Conan O'Brien was a writer. My favorite seasons, I actually have a collection, seasons 4 to 10. I cannot give a better example than this. There's an episode when Homer gives up drinking. He becomes sober and then he becomes more down. What does he do? He goes to America's favorite pastime, baseball. Without the consumption of alcohol, he goes to a baseball game and says, "I never realized how boring this game really is." And I mean, like, he had to be drunk to enjoy that game. That's sport. And then there's soccer. And once again from The Simpsons. Right wing passes to the left wing passes to the center passes to the right wing holds it, holds it, holds it, holds it! Sorry, but I'm just one of those guys that just doesn't have the patience for it. I'll watch highlights or whatever on Sports Center, or if it's like the Olympics or the World Cup or World Series, and yeah, I'll watch. And what's the deal with sports games too? Why play a sport when you could watch it yourself? Or better yet, get your butts out there and actually play the sport. Sorry, I'm sidetracking. But let me tell you how good 42 was, despite the fact that I'm not a real big fan of baseball. If I was a filmmaker offered to do the job about making a movie about Jackie Robinson, at first I'd be like, oh man, it's a baseball. I sat down and took in the story of Jackie Robinson, the racial segregation that he had to deal with as a baseball player and a human being, until 1947 when he became officially the first African-American baseball player. Then slowly but surely, that baseball at the time is not just a white man's sport. It's not even a black man's sport. It's a human being's sport. Because under the heavens, man, on planet Earth, there's only one family. So here's a quick history lesson, guys. The movie does start in 1945. And what happened in 1945? World War II ended. African-American community respectfully contributed to the war. Fortunately, when they got home to America, nothing's changed. Racial segregation still existed. Enter Harrison Ford, plays the Brooklyn Dodgers team executive. Branch Rickey. Cool interesting fact that was introduced in the beginning of the movie, which had like propaganda newsreel footage, narrated by an African-American news reporter named Wendell Smith, played by Andre Holland. There were 400 Major League Baseball players at the time, all of them white. And Ford's character, Ricky, wants to change that number 400 to 399. The business partner's like, "You're crazy, man, you're insane!" Interesting thing, as a viewer, you can't help but ask, why? It's an extremely nice gesture. You want to make the first African-American to play baseball. Ricky's asked a couple of times, why are you bringing an African-American to play baseball? One of his answers is, money. Like, really? Black, white, in America, money is always green. As a viewer, keep an eye out for the real answer. Of course, Ricky finds Jackie Robinson, played amazingly by this guy named Chadwick Boseman. He also has a girlfriend. Her name is Rachel, played by the very beautiful Nicole Beharie. One key element in the film, despite how offensive it is, actually invigorated the movie. Just a little more powerful as a story and an overall theme. Racism. One movie that comes to mind that's also a historical sports movie. That of course dealt with racism, and the one that comes into mind is Remember the Titans. Is that football movie with Denzel Washington where they want to coach a team that had black and white people in it? Now, it is a Disney movie. They had to watch their language. And don't get me wrong, it was a very good movie. If I recall properly, you know, no one actually says the N-word in it. Not that I wanted there to be, but it just, you know, distanced me a little bit because it just became a little less historically accurate. Because the racism in the movie 42 is pretty ugly, very offensive, but believable, accurate. Or at least it feels more accurate. Because as a filmmaker who would want to tell a very historically accurate picture, then yes, it has to be offensive. It has to get under your skin. Has to make you feel uncomfortable, because that's what actually happened. That's how bad it was. Because baseball as a sport was a sport that reflected American society. Any Firefly or Serenity fans over here? Alan Tudyk, who played Wash, is in this movie. He's Ben Chapman, who was the manager of the Cardinals at the time. Very key part that you gotta keep an eye out for. Remember that South Park episode where Randy, Stan's dad, said the N-word on Wheel of Fortune? He got into so much trouble. But I remember seeing on television there was this group who were against the usage of the N-word in the media. A member of the group who saw the episode, Matt Stone and Trey Parker, used the N-word in that one particular episode, excessively. That member of that group saw the episode and he pretty much said the overall message of that episode was morally acceptable. You know, that's the point I'm trying to make, is that the racism in this movie, despite how ugly and offensive it was, made the overall theme and experience of the movie 42 that more inspiring, invigoratingly more powerful. And let's not forget the acting in this movie. All around, everyone brought their A game, especially Harrison Ford. Gives off the impression that he's that grumpy old man that you don't want to mess with, like Mr. Wilson from Dennis the Menace. But his character, Ricky, really grows on you. Most likable people in that entire movie. He has something to do with the fact that he's a Methodist, but his mentality was way ahead of its time. Chadwick Boseman as Jackie Robinson was exquisite. Up until now, I know I gave a lot of praise to Harrison Ford mostly, but I'm not giving away anything about Jackie Robinson, because he's the one that you sympathize and suffer with throughout the entire movie. The movie is about Jackie Robinson, and rightfully so. Maybe you saw in the trailer Harrison Ford is like, I need someone with the guts not to fight back. It's such a key thing in the movie, because Ricky's not just preparing him to play baseball with a bunch of white people, not just to deal with American baseball, but American mentality at the time. It just becomes one of those situations. Don't let your quick temper or your mouth do the speaking for you. Let your baseball skills do the speaking for you. I'm also glad that they made the storytelling pretty straightforward. They didn't have some weird phantom that was haunting Jackie Robinson. I've seen Ray or Dragon, the Bruce Lee story. Aww. He was like stepping on water all the time because he was tormented by the death of his mom or something like that. In the Bruce Lee story, there was this huge Oni thing. All that Jackie Robinson had was sheer belief and faith that God built him to last. And he also has a quirky sense of humor. It's heavy emotional moments, but it does have its lighthearted moments as well. I'll be honest, it got to me a little. Shut up! Also, here's a fun fact. Did you know there's going to be a new Bruce Lee biopic? And the kind of thing that they're aiming to accomplish is like Ip Man with Donnie Yen. It'd be like super awesome, but at the same time 95% inaccurate. Woo! Now, even though it's based on a true story, it's not going to be 100% true. It's not going to be 100% accurate. The least they could do is make viewers walk away with a smile on their face. Which 42 did for me, which I hope will do for you as well. So, 42, written and directed by Brian Helgeland. Very inspiring biopic baseball movie. The theme of racism invigorating the overall movie experience. Solid acting all the way around, and a wonderful sense of humor, which is the cherry on top. Give it a B+, A- kind of grading, which translates to a 4.0. So go see it, suffer, sympathize, and be inspired. Also learn why the movie's not called the Jackie Robinson story and it's called 42. You'll learn the number 42 has such a huge historical significance. Not gonna tell you what, but you go see it for yourself. Till next time.